On the 8th of February 2024, Lenny Scott, a 33-year-old man, was murdered outside a gym in Lancashire. Why was a former prison officer, with no previous convictions, murdered in such a public place? Was this a random murder, or the cold-blooded settlement of a feud that had been brewing for years? In today's episode, we'll take you through each clue, uncovering the chilling truth behind this premeditated murder. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our next videos. Lenny Scott, 33, was a prison officer at HMP Altcourse, a high-security prison in Liverpool that houses some of the most dangerous criminals in the north of England. Lenny lives in Skelmersdale, a small town in Lancashire. Despite his modest means, he tries to fulfill all his roles: father, partner, and public servant in the criminal justice system. He lives with his ex-partner, Lucy Carnill, and is the father of 3 children, including a set of very young twins. Relatives and neighbors described him as a gentle, kind man, always ready to help anyone in need. At work, Lenny was known for being serious, principled, and uncompromising with mistakes. On a seemingly normal working day in March 2020, while performing a security check at HMP Altcourse, a high-security prison in Liverpool, Lenny Scott unexpectedly discovered a banned mobile phone in the cell of prisoner Elias Morgan. In most prisons in the UK, the possession of mobile phones is strictly forbidden, due to concerns that prisoners could use them to organize crime from within or intimidate witnesses outside the prison. But this phone was more than just a violation of the rules, it held a more horrifying secret. When Lenny examined the device, he discovered a series of intimate photos and text messages between Elias Morgan and prison officer Sarah Williams, an illicit sexual relationship, strictly forbidden under the rules of the UK Correctional Services, HMPS. The messages also showed that Sarah had provided personal information about other prisoners and helped Morgan move around the prison more easily. Knowing that he was about to be exposed, Morgan immediately pleaded. He tried to convince Lenny to make a mess of the paperwork, to make the case go away, even offering £1,500 to settle things internally. But Lenny, who always put principles and professional ethics first, flatly refused. Instead of keeping quiet, he wrote a report and handed over all the evidence to his superiors, doing exactly what a public servant should do. Elias Morgan, the prisoner found in possession of an illegal phone, was immediately questioned, isolated from other prisoners, and moved to a separate cell to avoid the risk of affecting the investigation. Sarah Williams, the prison guard who had an affair with Morgan, was quickly placed under internal investigation. There, she admitted to 3 violations of the Code of Conduct, including sharing personal information about inmates and misusing the computer system. These violations not only resulted in her immediate suspension, but also destroyed her entire reputation and career in the correctional service. For Lenny, reporting the incident was not a difficult choice. It was the right thing to do, a decision based on honesty and responsibility. But in Elias Morgan's eyes, it was the ultimate betrayal, an unforgivable humiliation. After being transferred to another prison and losing his relationship with the warden Sarah Williams, Elias Morgan escalated his threats against Lenny Scott. No longer just the furtive insults in the hallways or the hateful glares behind bars. This time Morgan went straight to the biggest fear of any father: family. He began threatening to blow up Lenny's house, even naming each of his children. In Morgan's eyes, Lenny was no longer someone who deserved to be protected by the law, but someone who had destroyed his honor and power, and anyone close to him became a reasonable target. Faced with increasingly specific threats, Lenny began to live in a state of extreme stress. Unable to remain silent any longer, he confided in his ex-girlfriend, Lucy Carnill, the mother of his children. With a choked voice, Lenny admitted, "I fear for the lives of my family. If anything happens, it will be from him." Not stopping at just telling the story, Lenny officially called 999, asking the police to intervene. In the report sent to the investigation agency, he said that Morgan continued to make offers in exchange for silence, even offering to eradicate the phone violation from 2020.
Hello, may I please?
Hi, I'm an officer at HMP Altcourse. I've just been informed that there's been a car set outside my house all weekend by a prisoner, and I believe it's there at the moment.
Is there anyone at home who can confirm it?
Confirm which? Sorry.
That the car's outside?
Well, they're not aware, because I don't really want to alarm them, because
You're going to have to get someone to look out to see if there's a car.
Okay, well, they're not going to sit directly outside it, because it's a prisoner threatening my family.
Right, okay, so what's your name, please?
Lenny Scott.
Is that Lenny Scott?
Yeah.
Lenny, what's your date of birth, love?
15th to the 10th, 1990.
And who's made the threat?
Elias Morgan. He's described my family and me to a T. Described my house. He said he's had them there just ready for because it's over. I've nicked them for a phone.
Ah, right.
And
okay.
he's until I drop that, he said to stay in there, and they're just going to constantly be around my house and
right. Okay.
Just in fear for my family's life. That's all.
Okay. And has he described the vehicle at all?
No, he hasn't. He said he's got lads everywhere, so he says he's described my vehicle and he's described my house and what my girlfriend and twin boys look like.
Is there any way that he's excuse my French, but is he chatting over this?
No, I believe this is real. Yeah, it's too specific because my twins, they're twins, but they've got different colour hair.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit. He's got everything to a T. He knows. He's described me everything. Yeah, an iPhone he had. So and he reckons it's going to incriminate him. So that's why he's going to these lengths.
Right. When was this?
That was Friday. He said he's had people sat outside all weekend.
Has anyone reported anything to you, like your family, or have you noticed anyone?
Recently a couple over the road, I believe they're dealing anyway,
right.
Has moved in, so I've just assumed any car that was there or hovering was to do with them.
So he's described your house, yeah?
Yeah, my vehicle.
Are your family at home at the moment?
Yeah. I don't know what's best, whether to tell her or... Sorry if you think I'm wasting time.
No, you're really not.
Yeah.
So at home is it your partner or your wife?
Wife. No, partner.
What's her name, please?
Lucy Griffiths.
And kids, the twins, is it just the twins?
Yeah.
And is this your mobile? No, it's not.
I've rang from the jail, sorry.
Do you know what? I'd be tempted just to carry on so they don't see you going home. Is there any chance you can then get your girlfriend to meet with you? Does she drive?
She doesn't drive, no.
She doesn't drive? All right.
No.
In that case, you would have to go home, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not, personally, it's not, I can deal with whatever, I'm fine with that, it's them.
Is he from Merseyside?
Yeah, I think Speak.
As soon as the next available car will get deployed, we'll ask them to ring you rather than have a patrol and go to your house.
Yeah.
Because obviously we don't know you're going to play with your missus, and also we don't want to alert them. Right, you've contacted us. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, love. It's log 217, like I said. If you just try and bear with us on that, and we'll get the next available patrol to make contact with yourself.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. Bye, love.
In his letter to the Department of Corrections, Lenny detailed the intimidation and emotional pressure he was subjected to, from being priced out, to destroy evidence, to being told his family would suffer consequences. In April 2021, just a year after bravely coming forward to denounce Elias Morgan and prison guard Sarah Williams, Lenny Scott was abruptly fired from the Department of Corrections. The reason given was that he punched an inmate in the face during a fight at the prison, an incident not directly related to the Morgan case, but which became the final straw in his career. There are no details about the specific circumstances of the punch, but Lenny was suspended and then fired. For someone who had spent his entire career maintaining order, the silent dismissal was not only a financial blow, but also a slow burn to his reputation. However, the frustration of his career was never greater than the constant worry about his family's safety, because even after leaving prison, Lenny still felt very clearly that the threat from Morgan had not disappeared. He may have been in custody at the time, but the threats from him, or from those around him, were still a specter that hovered over Lenny every day. After being released from prison, Elias Morgan did not back down or change. On the contrary, he held a grudge against Lenny Scott, as if he had sworn to pay with blood. The 4 years that had passed had not cooled that anger. As soon as he was free, Morgan began to plan his revenge in a cruel and methodical way. He contacted Anthony Cleary, a close friend from the outside world. Cleary did not directly carry the gun, but was the one assigned to supply, cover, and support this murderous act to the end. For weeks, Morgan secretly followed Lenny, recording his every move, what time he left home, where he went to the gym, which school his children attended, and the route he took to work. He appeared near Lenny's home in Prescott, and then investigated places he frequented, including the Mecca Gym in Speke and the Peel House Gym in Skelmersdale. Not only did he have a plan, Morgan also carefully prepared his appearance and vehicle. He bought an e-bike that was compact, easy to hide, and did not make a loud noise when moving. To avoid suspicion when appearing near the scene, he wore a reflective vest like a construction worker, easily blending into the city environment without being noticed. None of Lenny's friends or relatives knew that for weeks before the fateful day, the killer had quietly moved between the neighborhoods, hiding in the guise of a laborer, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. On the evening of the 8th of February, 2024, at around 7:35 p.m., Lenny Scott, after his regular workout at Pure Gym, Peel House, walked out into the parking lot to head home. For him, it was just another evening, like hundreds of others before it. But for Elias Morgan, this was a moment that had been months in the making. As Lenny was opening the car door, a strange man wearing an orange reflective vest and a hood approached, looking like a night shift worker. In a flash, the man pulled out a handgun and opened fire. 6 bullets hit Lenny in the head and chest, causing him to collapse immediately, without a chance to fight back or call for help. The scene lasted less than 10 seconds. Blood was smeared on the cement floor of the parking lot, and the perpetrator immediately turned around, ran to an electric bike parked a few meters away, and then sped off into the darkness. From a distance, no one could make out the face clearly, but the parking lot's CCTV cameras recorded the entire incident. Lenny Scott died on the spot before anyone could intervene. The peace of a winter evening was shattered by a public assassination, but carried out with the precision and calculation of a man who had spent a year plotting revenge. Immediately after the shooting that left Lenny Scott dead on the spot, Lancashire police launched a large-scale investigation. All the clues started with something seemingly trivial. The killer's reflective vest, clearly recorded by security cameras in the Peel House car park. Investigators used a combination of technology. CCTV at the gym recorded the entire process of the perpetrator approaching, firing, and escaping on an electric bike. Mobile location data showed that a person's phone matched the journey from the scene towards Liverpool. ANPR cameras detected a suspicious van linked to the e-bike, the vehicle used to aid the escape. From that technological puzzle, the name Elias Morgan gradually emerged as the prime suspect. Less than 3 weeks after the murder, in late February 2024, police made a proactive arrest in Liverpool, about 35 miles from the crime scene. Elias Morgan, 35, who was caught in 2020 by Lenny Scott in possession of an illegal phone, was arrested after tracking his mobile device, tracking his movements, and checking CCTV footage along his post-murder retreat. At the time of his arrest, Morgan was identified as the shooter and the mastermind who had been planning Lenny's murder for months. At the same time, Anthony Cleary, 29, a close friend of Morgan's, was also arrested on a warrant. Cleary is accused of providing Morgan with transportation and logistical support. According to the investigation, Cleary was the driver of the van carrying the e-bike. After Morgan murdered Lenny, he escaped on the e-bike, loaded the vehicle into the van, and was driven away from the Skelmersdale area by Cleary. At a preliminary hearing in mid-2025 at Preston Criminal Court, Elias Morgan was formally charged with premeditated murder. The prosecution's case was described as extensive and systematic, relying not only on photographic evidence but also on a series of electronic traces and key testimonies. Prosecutor Alex Leach KC presented a series of evidence in court, showing that Morgan was not only the mastermind, but also the person who pulled the trigger in the murder of Lenny Scott. Key pieces of evidence included CCTV footage that clearly captured Lenny walking out of the gym and being approached by a man wearing a reflective vest, who fired 6 shots into his head and chest. Location data from his phone and GPS, showing that Morgan's device followed the correct route from the scene back to Liverpool. Surveillance records from the 3rd of January 2024, when Morgan visited 3 locations associated with Lenny: his old gym in Speke, his home in Prescott, and his new gym in Skelmersdale, the location of the murder a month later. As for his accomplice, Anthony Cleary, 29, was charged with aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter. According to the charges, Cleary delivered the truck and electric bike to Morgan and was present near the scene at the time of the crime. However, Cleary denied all charges. In court, he asserted that he only helped his friend transport the vehicle and had no idea that the bike would be used to commit the crime. The trial, which began in June 2025, attracted a great deal of media and public attention due to the 4-year feud between the victim and the perpetrator. In the opening days of the trial, the prosecutor showed the entire jury the CCTV footage, along with location records, communication devices, and text messages from 2020, forming a closed chain of evidence. Prosecutor Alex Leach emphasized in his statement, "This was not a spontaneous murder, but a deliberate revenge plan, carefully planned over many years. Morgan did not just harbor a grudge, he put it into action." And Cleary, the man who delivered the getaway vehicle, knew exactly what was going on. Both Morgan and Cleary deny murder, and Cleary denies manslaughter. As of last update, Preston Crown Court has yet to deliver a verdict in this sensational murder case. The trial of Elias Morgan and Anthony Cleary is still ongoing, with the focus now being on the assessment of evidence and arguments from both sides, the prosecution and the defense. The jury has yet to enter its deliberations, and no official date has been set for sentencing. The case continues to attract intense interest from the media, victims' families, and the public across the UK, as people wait for justice to finally be served. A man who had been a disciplined man in prison, who believed that doing the right thing was enough to protect him, was brutally murdered in public. Was it an act of personal vendetta, or was it a warning about serious flaws in the legal system and witness protection? If Lenny Scott had not reported the phone that year, he might still be alive. But if everyone remained silent, would justice have any meaning? What do you think about this case? Is reporting wrongdoing, whether in prison or in society, really as protected as we think? Is the price of honesty too high? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.